What's happening, guys? Another Sunday scan coming at you, this time from Las Vegas. I am not going to do too much on the front side of this scan just because obviously there's a lot going on this weekend, but I wanted to do a quick video just to go over what I'm looking at for the week ahead. So I will potentially trade off the open. My goal is to not. Typically, I fly home on Sunday night, do an overnight red eye so I don't miss, but I have since changed that for this year, not really worrying about missing a day. First and foremost, Bitcoin's been continuing to go over 60,000, so I do expect a gap on Mara, and I do think that there will be a potential trade, whether it goes 50-52 and some type of parabolic move, or we have some type of just kind of failed follow through momentum off of a gap. Either I would trade on the short side if it starts to pull back and hold versus VWAP 9:45 10 a.m. plus, then I would look to join that trend. I'm not coming in short bias. I'm not coming in long bias. I think there's going to be a big opportunity. It's had a huge run on the daily chart, and that's typically what I look for. You know, kind of looking left and looking at potential spots where it might start to run into resistance. You have 54 and you know, something like 50, 56, 56, 50. So there's definitely some room for it to open up. I think this is one of those types where you know, obviously you've got the perma long type bias traders, but at the same time, I feel like there's a lot of people that didn't expect it to do this much that fast. And when that happens, we have those outlier moves to the upside. So hopefully there's some type of parabolic overextension that does give us that opportunity to fade. If I were to trade it before 9:45 10 a.m. plus, it would be purely reactive. After the 9:45 10 a.m., I'd be looking for more of a big picture trend join throughout the rest of the day. Plug would be the next trade that I have on watch, and it was a nice trader the last couple days that had the catalyst into Thursday, offered a really nice opportunity off open both days. But you know, it's difficult if you're on the wrong side of that trade. It's a huge knee-jerk reaction. You can see that there's been you know, this day over here on Friday, and then if you go back to Thursday, you can see that it also was pretty active off the open. You can see that there's a little bit of a base starting to form. So again, sort of the whole looking left you know, thought process. You can see 3150s. 3130s, right around that area, is starting to form as a base. So I want to assume that it might be trying to find a bottom, and with that said, could have a nice continuation type trade. I do think that there's still another couple days of good trading in this particular name, and I want to be prepared for it. So you know, I'm not necessarily short biased. Again, you know, we're in a market where it's really just about joining trends. So if this were to set up and hold over Friday's VWAP levels, then I would consider a long trade versus the 3130s, 3150s. If it had trouble at 3170s and 3150s, I'd be looking for a backside type trade. So the good part about this one is if it does start to have outlier moves in big range, then the options have been trading, you know, really well. On Thursday's move, just that $2 pullback actually was almost a 100% move. It was about 80, 88, 90% move from the 97 calls, or excuse me, the 97 cent 33 puts right off the open. They went almost to $2 per share, so that was nice. UPST, this one, I feel like everybody is looking for the top, waiting for the top, probably shorting every pop. So this is one of those that I want to just set price alerts, look left, figure out where there's been a little bit of consolidation, figure out where the support's been coming in, because as you know, we always try to find the tops on trades like this. And I think, you know, think back like DATS and CEI and all these other trades recently that we've been drawing lines at the prior levels of support. I think it's pretty clear that 385 is a little bit of a key level of, you know, where this trade would potentially have a change in sentiment. So I'd be cautious unless you have some type of 400 type parabolic 400 420. You know, then I think that there's a reactive trade there for a short side, quick pullback, things like that. But I would not be looking to build a short position, looking to fight a trade unless 385 were to start to break down. And by the way, before I get into the next section, once again, before I forget, I'm not a registered financial advisor. These are not buy or sell recommendations, and it's for educational and informational purposes only. Usually I do that in between the sections, but obviously today we're not doing that. Failed follow through. Failed follow through is obviously names that I'm looking to gap up and look for the momentum to shift, look for it to have failed follow through momentum off the open. So it gaps up and it starts to hit a wall, and the continuation to the downside happens. That's what I'd be looking for on this 2050s, 2020s, somewhere around there. If it were to gap up into Friday's resistance, and then look for it to fade back off into the teens. It's been a nice trader. Lately, it had a really nice rebound, which a lot of times when this happens, you've pretty much squeezed out and already got the dip buyers in there. And if it stays heavy, then a lot of times you see some continuation to the downside. So that's what I'd be looking for on that one. DAT, this one's been a phenomenal trader. Obviously it was one of my top trades of the year so far. The day that you can see right over here, this nice, big action off the open, and then complete unwind under $10 per share. It offered another nice opportunity the last 2 days. There's been a lot of swipes and continual resistance that it's hit. You can see taking a more macro look rather than looking at a quick swipe and thinking that it's going to reverse. You can see that it's had a common theme of a top here. You can see that it's had a common theme of a top right here at the 1170s. So thinking in terms like that, I'd be watching all pops versus the 1170 level as a potential continuation of the downside. So right now we've had the big short squeeze, we've had the big unwind. Now we've had that quick rebound where everybody's like, all right, we're going right back up. And now it's that slow trickle down. So I think we have another day or two of probably edge with this particular setup, and then I think it's going to start to get a little bit more choppy and a little bit more difficult just to kind of navigate, given the liquidity probably dries up. And you can already see that Friday, just the difference between Wednesday and Thursday's volume and Friday. You can see that it's probably about a fourth to a fifth of the volume already. So I would expect that things start to get a little bit thinner and more choppy. So if you are being too aggressive with size, it's something just to kind of keep in mind. On the long side, continuation type charts, GREE had a great rip into the close. I think just about every Bitcoin related name did. That said, I would be looking for a base to sort of form at that 25 level. I'm expecting that it would potentially gap up. This one's been super beat since SPRT. They did the reverse merger. They raised some money, and they've actually got some pretty high point targets out there from some, not any crazy firms, but they're out there. And I do think that it has yet to have its post reverse merger unwind run. It hasn't had that big move yet. It did have this one day with some big volume. But I do think that if it starts to stabilize and Bitcoin continues to do what it does, I do think that it could potentially have that sort of reversal where everybody gets excited and this thing starts to go a little nutty. So if it were to base at 25 and if it were to confirm a few times, then it has that potential that it could go 30, 35 and start to get people excited again. But again, that's not just pops to 35, pops to 25, and that means it's going to 30, 35. I'd want to see a new base start to form, over this prior resistance to anticipate something like that. And last but not least, one other one that I was just watching is SPGI. I've been in and out of this trade many times in the past, no current position. And you can obviously see that there's some big exhaustion moves in this 4 level, but I am interested on dips. It's something that continually comes back. You can tell that there's a buyer in the overall tape, in the overall daily chart. Somebody's been there sort of as an invisible hand throughout the last couple of months at the daily chart VWAP levels. So I'm going to be watching for that if it were to start to take on new levels. Like I said, no current position. I'd be watching for dips and see if 350 starts to firm up. So I've got a lot of other ones on staying familiar. I'm not going to go into each and every single one of them. I do think that there's some great potential. For example, a standout is FUTU. I think it's always good to just keep an eye on stocks like this because you've got a $10 range on Friday. You've got probably another $20 of range in the prior days that week. So whether or not we go 58 and it has a nice little rebound, there's got to be opportunity there. So I think that it would pay to set price alerts, 62, 61, 60, 58, and even to the upside, so that if and when it does start to form a trend, you have that opportunity to trade it, to take part. So anyway, that is what I'm prepared for today. Like I said, it was going to be short and sweet. We had a great weekend. I will include a link to donate for Traders for Cause if you guys are interested in doing so. I would absolutely appreciate it. At the end of the day, that's what this is about. That's what this weekend was about. The live stream ended up being phenomenal. We got a lot of great feedback from everybody that was on it. Pretty seamless. They were following around, everybody with questions. So it was very engaging on the live stream. So that was awesome to hear. So, because that's the first year, obviously, that we've done it. So that said, have a good rest of the weekend, and hopefully we've got some good action on Monday. As usual, just remember it's Monday, so you don't want to be super aggressive at 6 a.m., 7 a.m., 8 a.m. Be patient. Let the trades come to you. There was a lot of process talk this weekend. There was a lot of technical talk this weekend. But really the common theme has been, being patient, letting the trades come to you, having a system, respecting risk, and that preservation of capital is the most important piece of trading. So I expect there to be a lot of good stuff that comes out of this event, a lot of great content, and I look forward to, if you guys haven't seen it yet, we will be posting it on the Project Impact website for those of you guys that are interested in potentially viewing it. We'll have probably an announcement in a week or two once we turn those videos into something that's a little bit easier to view. So that's it. Have a good weekend, guys, and we'll catch you in the room tomorrow.